What's up, man? Great to see you. Could you just share how long you've been homeschooling, how long you've been with Classical Conversations, and then how long you've been directing?
Well, first of all, I was homeschooled myself. Of course, that was lots of years ago, but
That's awesome.
homeschooling from the beginning. That's kind of where that came from. I always said it didn't matter what my husband said. I'm going to homeschool. Good thing he was on board. So we've been homeschooling from the beginning. I have a 9 and 11-year-old. We've been doing CC for 3 years. This will be our 4th year coming up. So we started at a full campus in Albuquerque and saw the need for it in the East Mountains of Albuquerque. So it's about a 30-minute drive to Albuquerque where we were attending. And so I became a director in Edgewood, and that's where we began the next chapter of our CC travels, if you will.
That's great, ma'am. That's great. How long have you been directing, ma'am?
For 2 years. This will be my 3rd year coming up.
Okay, great. Excellent. And so the question of the day, ma'am, how do you or how can you make a one-room schoolhouse work in your CC community?
Well, in our one-room schoolhouse, the tutor has the opportunity to model working with different age kids all at the same time. And isn't that what we do at home anyway? Right? So we're basically modeling. It makes it easy for the parents to take it home when you have all the different ages in one classroom. The older students model for the younger ones how they have mastered the grammar, giving them a great example. And the tutor models grace when required, and at the same time models excellence in handling all the different ages. So it's a perfect model for the parents and for the students. They learn how and when they can interrupt one another, or when they really shouldn't be interrupting one another. So a great example is for geography. In order to handle the different stages, the different ages, what we do is we have both, of course, the color and then the black line maps, and we encourage the younger students to use those black line maps, but we require our older students to use them. So when we set them at our table, we separate the younger kids with the older kids so that the older kids can't kind of peek over and see what they're doing. And they kind of challenge each other. And for math, we usually will go ahead and write it out as if we're doing a master's class. So it literally says, 1 times 1 equals 1. And the younger kids are getting used to that. When they get to that stage, no matter what size campus they're at, they'll be used to that. And it works very well for us. Of course, when we're doing review games, we don't require that part of it out of the younger ones, but the older ones we do. They have to follow through with that. And you're modeling both aspects of that from all the different ages and how the parents can handle it at home as well. We present the full grammar to engage the older students, and then we make it fun to engage the younger students. So we have lots of fun and games like you would find in an abecedarian class, but just not the whole thing. We do a little bit here and a little bit there, and we keep everybody engaged, and my tutors are great at paying attention to who's not paying attention like you would in a normal class, but it's different because of the different ages. And again, that kind of teaches you how to do it at home. As a one-room schoolhouse, we're given the opportunity to become closer friends. And in larger communities, the director usually has a hard time being able to sit down and visit with some of the parents, especially all of them. But in a one-room schoolhouse, it's easy. We can sit down together, and I get to visit with all of the parents, not just pick 1 or 2 for a particular day or week. And so we become friends. I feel like the parents are more help to one another and to me. I'm still growing in my homeschool learning as well. What else? What other notes did I make here? Oh, review time. That's a part of day where we get to practice a lot of grace. And the majority of the time what we'll do is we'll put a younger student teamed up with an older student. And so when it comes time for their question time, then they take turns. And so if it's the younger's turn to answer, if they're having trouble, then the older one can kind of give them some hints. But they learn how to be a coach and not answer it for them. Just like the larger campus, the first few weeks we set a tone for the class, and there's no more than 8 students in a class in a full campus, right? So we have that. It's just that it's mixed ages, which again allows the kids to interact with one another. It's easier for them to be able to take it home, dealing with their different age siblings. It's kind of like being at home, I guess you would say. And our facility actually allows us enough space, since we have one room. They do have enough rooms for us to be a full Foundations and Essentials campus. But what they allow us with this one is an extra room, so we can go through our science and art in a separate room. Parents can hang out there, clean it up while the tutor goes back and starts reviewing, and the day just flows really well. Everything's cleaned up as we go. It's a totally different feel than a full campus, which is where we started.
What I love is basically every point that you ran through, is totally applicable to someone's home with children of varying ages there. I thought there's such a awesome parallel. One room schoolhouse at the community is literally sounds like exactly what a one room schoolhouse would look like in someone's home. That's awesome, man.
Right. And this past year, we actually had, our tutor has a 1.5-year-old, and she was the only young one, so we didn't have childcare. So the young one is kind of running fast, maybe do some things with us. So you literally get your home at CC2. You always have a little one running around, and figure out how to involve them or how not to involve them, or parents jumping in to help. Like an older student would jump in to help with the little sister, let me take her while you go do math with Joe,
That's great, man. And one last thing here, can you think of a favorite verse that has really encouraged you throughout your, homeschooling journey?
That would be 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, because God teaches us that we don't have a spirit of fear when we're coming into a new campus and apprehensive about what's going to happen. And let me tell you, people come and go, and they do that at a small campus, and sometimes it feels like it hurts, but God fills it back up. He's taught us that this time around. He gives us a spirit of love and of power and of a sound mind, and he carries us through in our difficult times and makes them shine.
Amen. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing. And for all of you that are watching that would like to see more awesome interviews from the wonderful directors across the globe, please go to the Classical Conversations YouTube channel and click on the playlist called Meet CC Directors. And you can also check out classicalconversations.com/CC Director to get more information if you're praying or considering becoming a director. Thank you so much, man, for your time. God bless you. Have a super day.